Alrighty, Tiger fans, here we are for the Round 6 Tigercast Player of the Year votes. This is going to be a bit of a doozy because there seems to be an overwhelming favourite in the general football land, but it maybe didn't pan out how we all thought it might have panned out. So there'll be some interesting votes to potentially follow. But firstly, what a massive and great win against Gold Coast. Not massive by margin, but massive in terms of what it means to the club and the progression that we've made, EJ, just so far this year. We've made some really good positive steps, and it was one for the ages.
It was awesome. And I mean, knowing that you're going to cop your fair few whacks through the season, there'll be weeks where we hold it together and we'll get to enjoy the good times. And that was the weekend. And the fact that it was against Dimmer's New Toys was probably just that little bit more satisfying.
Do you reckon that I know it's easy for the club to say, no, it doesn't play a part, but do you reckon whether it's subconsciously or other, that type of game means more to some of those players who maybe feel a bit more personally aggrieved by how it all played out?
100%. I mean, you only have to see the little byplay between like Seth Campbell and Rioli to know that, I think Rioli going this off-season added that extra factor.
Yes.
And he was just reminding him,
Especially because, like, when you look at the players who left, he was the only one to leave for non-legitimate reasons. By that, I mean, like, Baker went home for family, Bolton went home for family, Graham was probably the other one who probably didn't have family in WA, but he was shopping himself around previous years, and we shopped him. So
we shopped him.
Yeah. So that was kind of mutual in a lot of respects. But the Rioli one was the one that was a bit out of the blue. So I feel like there was a bit more heat in that one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wish everyone all the best. But if there's one that sticks in my craw a little bit, it was the Rioli one. And it's because of the Hardwick tap up factor, the fact that he was getting tapped up, which is why he's gone, because he's got the good relationship. So, yeah, that one just I won't ever wish ill will, but yeah, it makes the Gold Coast games a little bit different.
Definitely does. And the boys definitely let him know about it. With that said, let's get stuck into the votes for round 6 of the Tigercast Player of the Year. It's nice to do votes in a game where everyone shoots the lights out. So we'll get stuck into them. For the 5 votes, first and foremost, this is where the interesting one comes in. So you, CB, Grok, and I all went for Nick Vlaston for the 5 votes. Tiggs went for Tim Taranto for the 5 votes. And Tim Taranto did have a very good game. So it must be said that his 30-odd disposals, goal, and the way he was in the game for a long time is still very, very important to the way we played the game. But if you want to give a bit of a spiel on Nick Vlaston for the 5 votes.
Oh, well, most meters gain ground for us, 661, over 80% disposal efficiency, 27 disposals, 24 of them were kicks. So you're going at over 80%. And when 90% of your possessions are by foot, 10 contested possessions, 15 intercepts, 13 marks, it was just a phenomenal game across all levels and one of the better games he's ever played.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing what he was doing, the marks he was taking, and it went definitely a hell of a long way to us winning that contest. 4 votes. The 4 votes, so I went for Jacob Hopper, as did CB. So Jacob Hopper, I thought, complimented Tim Taranto really well in the midfield. It's the fittest that he's looked since being with us. And someone made a really good point on, it might have been Twitter or Big Footy, that it almost felt and looked like he had a GWS Giants jumper on in terms of how well he played back at the Giants and kind of why we might have wanted to get him across in the first place. So I thought Hopper had a really good game. Teeks went for Hopper as well for the 4. And then EJ, you and Grok went for Tim Taranto with the 4.
Yeah, look, you could have gone either way with either of them. I think, I can't remember, but I think I've got Hopper at 3. Those two together in tandem in the guts were just fantastic all game. And as we talked about, the effort didn't drop off at any stage. It was a 4 quarters where that has something that we could probably be a little bit picky about in previous weeks. I think Tim Taranto had 18 contested possessions. I think Hopper was the next best on 12. I think that went a long way for me, for him being that one step higher, because at the source he was really strong for us.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. 3 votes. So 3 votes. A lot of us, flipped the other way. So I went Tim Taranto. CB went Taranto. Tiggs went Vlosten for the 3. And then you went Jacob Hopper for the 3, along with Grok.
Yeah, for all the reasons mentioned. He's looking let's just hope he gets a whole season where he gets a consistent crack at it and doesn't suffer any setbacks, because we're not allowed to use that other word, are we?
You nearly did it. He's not, surely not.
I know. No setbacks, and he gets a good, clean run. Because when he's on top of the ground, he looks really good.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. Now, the 2 and the 1 votes are probably where people got a bit more playful with the votes, because those 3 seem like the clear standouts, right, for bulk of the game, I think. We'll go down to the 2 votes. So I went Morris Jr. I thought that his game was really, really good. And just the 7 tackles, the pressure racks, and just the way he sort of fought through that first half, where he had an almost half. He was doing a lot of nice things that maybe come undone just at the very end. He could have gone into his shell, but he stuck at it in the second half and was really, really good. Kicked a nice goal. And had some awesome chase downs. I thought he really set the tone for us from a pressure perspective. CB went for Noah Bolter. Grok went for Bolter. Tiggs went for Seth Campbell, which I think is a really good vote as well with his game. That third quarter of Seth Campbell's, that sprint down the wing where Sam Collins was almost non-existent and just burnt past him was pretty special. And you went for Sam Banks for the 2 votes.
Yeah, I just really like his defensive game. As we talked about in the pod last night, he and Hugo now are really running hard. He had 20 disposals. He went at 80%, had 3 tackles. And for me, that was probably the most physical game I've seen from him, where he disrupted and impacted his opposition as much as he helped us. So, for that defensive side, he earned my votes.
Fair call. He had a really good game too. And for the 1 vote, I went for Noel Bolter. Like I said on the Monday Night Live, I thought that the importance of him being back in the back line was clear and evident. It gave confidence to Miller. It gave confidence to Broad and to Vlosten to do their roles. And I think it just, like you said as well, it was like those cogs were back in place. They were familiar to each other. And I just feel like if he didn't play that game, we would have lost. The job he did on King was phenomenal. I think he held him to 3 or 4 kicks. He got 1 goal and sat on the pine for about 15 minutes in the last quarter because Hardwick wasn't sure what to do and how to get the matchup right. So that was a huge win in that sense. CB went for Seth Campbell, which is fair enough. So for the same reasons Tig did, I'm sure. Grok went for Morris Rioli. Tiggs went for Nankervis for 1 vote. And you went for Morris for 1 vote as well.
Yeah, for the reasons mentioned. I think he was number 1 pressure act player on the ground. The chase downs we all saw. When he scored the goal, as I said, he's hip and shouldered Collins out of the way, and Collins is playing on Lynch. That's the size difference. Rioli's a midget. So he stayed in the game, whereas previously you could probably have a crack at him for not being there and sticking with it for the 4 quarters. That was fantastic. And a fit and firing Morris gives us a new dimension of pressure. And if we add Mansell back in, next week or whatever, having the opposition players worrying about where our defenders are, it's been a while since we could say that.
Yeah. And it definitely felt like it's been something we've been missing for a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that dynamic works. Now, with that said, let's bring up the leaderboard for at the end of round 6. Jacob Hopper is smashing it at the moment on 71 votes, which I still think is a pretty accurate reflection of how well his year's gone so far. So I don't think that's out of place whatsoever. Tim Taranto second on 45. Toby Nankervis third on 44. Vlosten. Try that again. Vlosten on 42. Seth Campbell on 40. Luke Traynor 26. Mansell 25. Camden McIntosh 24. Miller 21. Lawler 21. Ross 20. Short 20. Blight 11. Hugo 11. Nathan Broad 8. Brown 6. Dow 5. Bolter 5. Rioli Jr. 4. Armstrong 2. Dresize 2. Banks 2. And Steely Green 1. But if we look at that top 3 in particular, again, EJ, Hopper, Taranto, and Nankervis, I think it's safe to say that they would be featuring heavily in our BNF right now as well, I would assume.
Yep, for sure. And I just want to do one little shout out, which I've just noticed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 7th place, number 7, Ryan Mansell, hasn't played for 3 weeks.
Hasn't played for 3 weeks. That's
Right.
how well the start of his season was.
Yes, and that shows us how important he's going to be coming back in against the D's on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think that speaks to your point that he probably doesn't go back to the VFL just based on he was in such good form prior. And there's a reason why we try to fight to get him off the charge as well. Even though he was injured, we were prepared to still try and get him off the charge to play. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does upon his return. But yeah, that is the leaderboard to date, folks. So they are the votes. We'll go around again next week for the Melbourne game. So hopefully we keep seeing it's actually good to see the experienced guys pushing and leading the way now, because if the experienced guys do their thing, it makes it easy for the young kids to do their thing as well. And then combined, it comes together quite nice, like we saw in the Gold Coast game.
100%.
So with that said, we will see how we go votes-wise next week. And until the next one, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.